when I got here, I had a sign put in the main office saying that Christ is the reason for this school. That's it. We're not here for anything except to serve the Master. And we see that reflected in the classrooms. Again, they don't just learn about their faith in religion class, they learn it in all their classes. They learn it in how they're supposed to interact with each other in the hallways or at gym. They learn what a Christian is supposed to be doing. And our school has the great opportunity, each class goes to Mass once a week. So they have an understanding of the liturgy. The older classes are lectors at Mass and serve at Mass, and they have that connection with the Holy Sacrifice. So we do the best we can to make sure not only they're being educated in the faith, they're being educated academically greatly. And as again, we tell the parents, COVID didn't affect our scores. Our scores, I wrote to the parents recently that, I forget who said it, but if the Catholic schools in America were a state, they'd be the #1 state in all the academic tests, standardized tests that are conducted. So we have a great product educationally, but we've also developed them spiritually. And that's more important. It's not important where you go to high school or college. It's important that you get to heaven.
We're looking for a school that provided, obviously good education. Not too far from home was also a consideration. And, St. Augustine's was recommended by a lot of people. We did our research and we realized, hey, St. Augustine's right here has a good education. Let's try it. And we have not regretted that decision. There's more of a small town feel, even though it's not such a small town. But there is a smaller town feel. And that might be because of my upbringing, in which, everybody just kind of, hey, you just mind your own business. But you don't really, you don't do that up here. Your business is my business, for bad or for good, right? And then my business is your business. So that's the sense that I get up here, and it's very refreshing in a way that you have people who kind of care. So I think that's an attraction.
I have actually been in this building since I was 3, basically. I started here as in their pre-K3 program, and I graduated, went all the way through to 8th grade. And then after college, Sister has this way of pulling you back in, and she asked me to come as a leave replacement for just 2 months. That was the plan, and that was over 10 years ago. I started as a Spanish leave replacement because I had studied abroad, and then I became my former math teacher's math aide the following year, who is now our assistant principal, Mrs. Vestman. So she's a magical person, and she had me so excited as a student, and then that made me excited as her aide, and then to follow in her footsteps, she became my mentor. And I got to work alongside her and learn from her, which was very interesting because I used to be intimidated by her, and now I was supposed to be her equal. And then when she moved on to be assistant principal, I stepped up and took over her math program. And that's where you find me now.
I attended public school through 8th grade, and then in high school, I went to Kennedy Catholic in Somers. When I was at Kennedy, I observed the kids specifically from St. Augustine's that came in. There was something special about them from a community aspect, from an academic aspect, and through life I've observed something. So my husband had a similar story, went to public school through high school, was enrolled in a faith-based education for high school. One of the things that we agreed upon before we were even married is that a faith-based education was really important to us if we were lucky enough to have a family. So when we settled in the area, we never even considered the district that we lived in. It was going to be St. Augustine's from the start.
We actually started our children off in public school. We found that it wasn't meeting the educational needs of our children, and it also wasn't meeting our our goals spiritually, and it wasn't creating the kind of community that we were looking for. So we came to St. Augustine's when my oldest son was in the 3rd grade, and we were a little scared, a little worried, and the community basically just welcomed us with open arms. We were welcomed from the front office all the way over through pre-K. And the children have grown socially, they're educationally, they've done wonderfully. High honors for my older son every marking period since we've been here. And they're basically meeting every goal that we have for the kids. And they're also instilling morals in the children. It's just been a wonderful place for us to be.
Oh, it's been absolutely, it's been great. The community here is definitely very welcoming. Coming here in 4th grade, I wasn't really, with everybody like Stephanie was. I wasn't with everyone since like pre-K, so coming here was definitely like a big change. Having to meet a whole different community. They were definitely very welcoming and very helpful with academics, and definitely a great time making new friends.
It's like a second community here. Everyone knows everyone, and they all seem to get along.
I come in and I unpack, and we usually pray, and then we learn. And usually we go through, we do literacy block first, and then after a few subjects, there's lunch. We pray before lunch also. And then after lunch, there's recess. And then after recess, we learn a few more subjects, and then we pray again before we go home.
I like walking into school, saying hello to everyone in my class, talking to my friends, and talking to my teachers.
Actually, my entire life I've gone to Catholic school. I went from pre-K3 all through college. For my elementary years, I went to St. Teresa's in Briarcliff Manor. For my high school, I went to Good Counsel Academy in White Plains. And then for college, I actually went to Belmont Abbey College in Charlotte, North Carolina. I played volleyball for them. And I find Catholic education so incredibly important, especially in a world where people sometimes forget our faith. Having it in one building and being able to teach students to love Christ is one of my favorite parts of teaching that.
I have a 4-year-old son, so we're, considering where they'll go for kindergarten and onward. And my husband is actually not Catholic, he's Jewish. And we chose anyway to send our son here, at least starting at pre-K, because we're rooted in the same moral upbringing. They really overlap, even though he is not a raised Catholic. It wasn't necessarily because I came here specifically, it's because we wanted a program there. The morals and values we talk about at home can still be talked about in the school building itself. And so that's what initially brought us here. But what I find throughout the program at St. Augustine's is that the faith is intermingled with a really important focus on the nuts and bolts of education, meaning in the early grades, they focus on the letters and the sounds and the phonics, and they'll read to the children and they'll get down with them and play. And they don't just check something off a list because it's listed on the curriculum and they say, oh, I taught that and that's enough. They single each child out to help them with what they're great at, to push them further, or to stick it out with them when they're struggling. I think here at St. Augustine's or at any Catholic school, the teachers really have an investment in each child, especially since we don't see them for just 2 years, right? They don't teach kindergarten first and then they go off to another building. We get to see them for kindergarten first, second, and that means the teachers from above and below speak with each other. We're prepared when the next child comes in. We know socially if they had an issue, or maybe they were struggling with something and they overcame it, and then we can greet them with that knowledge. The child doesn't have to know we had that conversation, but it exists. And it all comes together in this little package. I don't meet these kids until they're in 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. But I have talked to their 5th grade teacher and their 4th grade teacher. I know because our faculty isn't very large, maybe they didn't cover every topic in 5th grade, so I know to start with that in 6th grade. And I find that, in a larger public school setting, you're not going to be able to have all those conversations to help the children along the way. And as a parent, my husband and I have had so many conversations about this because his family is in education too. And it's important to know that you're building something, and not just for a moment in time, but for like continuing education.
I think even though myself, I'm not Catholic, I think that the environment here is really great because in a school like this, there's no bullying and we have a lot of help from our teachers. And also I feel like we're on a name-to-name basis with everyone, so it feels like we're a big community together. And I also love like how well-mannered everyone is and like how we all get along. I feel like being on a name-to-name basis helps us together in like projects so that you can know a little bit about the person when you're doing it. It's helpful. We learn a lot of virtues here that I feel like will help us later on in life, especially like faith-based virtues. Like they're really important to know even if you're Catholic or not.
Catholic school really prepares you for your high school experience. It gives you more of like that step forward and that advantage on a lot of the other kids that will be in high school. It also sets you apart to like grow in your faith before everybody else can. It gives you that startup and shows you how you can grow your faith so that you can take it farther in your future. Also, just Catholic school just helps you a lot with just being a better person. They teach you all like basically the morals that you need to be a very good person in general. So definitely Catholic school has played a huge role in my life. So they really taught me how to take my prayer farther and not to only just do it in school, but to also do it out of school so I can further my relationship with God and Jesus as well. And definitely they've encouraged me to go to Mass, which I do now every weekend, even besides going every week here. And it's just basically just showed me how I can grow my relationship with God and basically the steps that I need to take in order to do that.
I feel like this school has definitely given me a strong sense of morals that even though I may not have realized it as I was growing up, I now realize when I look back that it's always been there guiding me along.
All day, every day, they're surrounded by Catholic virtues. It's not just something that they're going to pick up Sundays for an hour because they have to. It's when they get dropped off and Lou greets them. It's when they're goofing off with Oscar. It's when Stella will go down and do tutoring and hang out with Miss Molinari, and they'll go through the rosary with the third graders. There's a little bit of everything everywhere. They're learning the world is not just about this exact moment, and it's not just about them. It's about how we're contributing to the broader good of the world.
Christianity is not something you learn. It's not just the teachings of Christ. It's putting those teachings into action. So service is always a responsibility that they have to fulfill. They know that. It's part of who they are, is that they have to be open to the needs of others all the time. Whether it's being kind to someone on the playground or when you're preparing for confirmation, volunteering in the local soup kitchen, food pantries, those are things that are instilled in them from the very beginning. That to be a follower of Christ, you have to be caring for your neighbor all the time.
Before I worked at St. Augustine's, I was teaching at a Title I public charter school in North Carolina, and there are incredible differences when you get a Catholic education. First, just having students want to mentor each other, and we have the 8th graders that come and help us in the mornings in our classrooms, and just seeing how much they want to help those kids and they want to help the younger ones, and then that the younger students see the older kids and they just think that they're the world. It's really awesome to just see that mentorship, even without the teacher playing a role in it, that it's instilled in the school because of going to a Catholic school, that sometimes it's not even us. Sometimes it's just the older kids.
Our children have become very responsible for their own work. They talk about going to Mass every week. They want to take an active role. Our older son has become an altar server. He wants to be a leader as part of that group. My younger children are preparing this year for communion. It's a very, very exciting time for them.
Probably a big thing would be our teachers. Like, they're all really patient. Like, I feel like here, and also knowing that everyone, like, you know, we're all in like a safe and healthy environment helps like us learn better in classrooms. And like, since we don't have problems with anyone, like we're all dressed the same, you know, we can like relate to each other like experience-wise. I definitely recommend this school, especially this school, to a friend. I love this school, and ever since kindergarten I've always been able to learn and like, you know, been able to have the best school experience, so I really like this school.
The best thing about going to St. Augustine School is the entire school, because I love the song that we get to sing, and we do fun things in St. Augustine's.